man, I have been looking forward to this day. It's so amazing. It has been exactly 3 years since I made my very first countdown. Top 15 YouTubers. Please don't watch it. It is freaking terrible. I am saying this for your own good. It is a very bad video. The only reason I would ever recommend watching it is to see how far I've come, or if you're just curious about what my entries were. But just skip through once you see each entry. Trust me, I am very, very bad in that video. But here, I'm here to put a remedy on that. Arguably my worst countdown ever, I'm now making a remake to. But instead of 15, I'm doing 25. My top 25 favorite YouTubers of all time. I've had this idea in the works for over a year now. Yeah, before I even made that game theory response video. God, it feels so long. But whatever, it is finally time to do this video. Now, as for the rules, there's really only one big one. They still have to upload videos. Like, there are some dead accounts that I like say Your Favorite Martian, but it's a dead account. They're not making any more videos. So yeah, that's kind of a thing, and I will be taking update rate into account as opposed to just general video quality with the people on this list. Now, if a YouTuber on this list looks interesting to you, then by all means check them out. Just search them up in the search bar. I mean, I'm not making this video to ruin their reputation or anything. Kind of obvious that if I like them, I wouldn't mind if more people went to their channels. But with all that said, guys, there's one last thing I need to mention. There are tons and tons of YouTubers out there, and if one you like doesn't make the list, chances are it's not because I hate them, either it's because I haven't heard of them, or just haven't dedicated myself enough to watching their videos. So, with all that said, it's time to start the top 25. Well, this is an odd choice for number 25. DangerDolan. He does countdowns about just random facts, whether it be what foods are bad for you, the dumbest sports ever, or just random other stuff in general. Now, what sets him apart from the other fact countdown channels, like say Top Trending or All Time 10s? Simple. Dolan has a very good delivery, and he makes each one funny. Like, All Time 10s or Top Trending will just tell you what happened, but he sort of tells you what happens, but he does it in a funny way. It's kind of hard to explain, but he, I feel, is a lot better than the competition. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, but wait, what about Matthew Santoro? And I do like Matthew Santoro. I just like DangerDolan more. Oh, and if I still haven't convinced you, in case like real life's too boring or something, he also has a second channel where he does the exact same thing but with video games, simply entitled DangerDolan Gaming. So if you like what I described but prefer more so on the gaming side, you should check that one out. Leading into the next entry, I'd like the time to list off all the people who have been number one since I came to YouTube. High-pitched Screamfest, but he's also the reason why I came to YouTube in the first place, cause I was young and stupid at the time, so I guess I'll let him slide. This guy, ToshPointo the YouTube channel, mostly average comedy duo who many agree is past their prime, and High-pitched Screamfest 2.0, this time with video games. And out of all 5 of these guys, by far the most deserving of the number 1 spot was Nigahiga, or however you pronounce it, I'm not quite sure. But this guy is really funny. Basically, not everyone can pull off a random style of humor, but this guy does it beautifully. I don't know, there's just some charm about him that really helps him pull off the style of humor that I can see other people failing at, but he's really funny. His videos, how they can sometimes take incredibly random turns, but at the same time be very funny, and sometimes just making fun of stuff in general. He can also have videos that are funny but also have a serious message at the same time, like don't get offended just because you feel like you should be. Now I bet you're wondering why he's so low on the list, and there's one simple reason for that. I've only recently subscribed to this guy. I don't know, just don't have a long connection with him, which might be why he's lower on the list. All I can say though is that I look forward to watching a lot of his content in the future. I'm sure it's gonna be great. Okay, I'm not going to waste too much time with this one. Basically, if you want to know why SMG4 is on this list, just watch my top 15 SMG4 videos. If you want to know why he's this low on the list, don't worry, I have a countdown coming out, hopefully this May, that you can watch to know why. Time for the first of many countdown makers on this list. I mean, I am a countdown maker, so it would stand to reason that I like to watch other countdown makers. But basically, here's why I like the Phoenixcake. I just find him very entertaining. He's a pretty good countdown maker. It's not exactly easy to elaborate when you're talking about a countdown maker, especially considering there are a lot, but he's pretty interesting, and I like his stuff a lot. He tends to be one of the biggest examples of a countdown maker who deviates from just talking about video games, but also other stuff as well. Yes, about as much as yours truly. He also has his own series called Rantastic, where he does a lot of very well thought out and good rants, which I kinda hope to do a series like this at some point in the future. He also does his own reaction videos, which for the most part I think are actually pretty good. I mean, what else is there to say about this guy? He's nerdy, he's funny, he's smart, and he has a lot of interesting things to say. But actually no, there is something else to say. You see, last year he barely uploaded anything, and I know I said I'm doing this based on update rate, and he might have been higher if he had done a lot more last year, but he's trying to make up for it this year by uploading more, and I honestly think he's doing it pretty well. Unlike a certain other countdown maker who takes forever to do anything and hasn't been active for over a year. I mean, I get he's busy with his university and voicing in Fiona Frightening, but seriously, it's been over a year since his last countdown. Does it really take a year to make a 20-minute long video and... Oh crap, I think I just painted another huge target on myself. Gotta run. CJS0 kind of feels like that one countdown maker that sort of tends to deviate from the norm a lot. I mean, no long intro, mostly positive countdowns, pretty short videos that never go above 20 minutes, no swearing? What is this witchcraft? Oh wait, I don't swear either. But even still, I really enjoy this guy's videos. I honestly think his difference from a lot of the other countdown makers kind of makes him more enjoyable. Not saying that, you know, they're drastically different, but he has a lot of differences compared to people like Quarter Guy or Maverick Hunter 075, who by the way are both runners-up for this list. Countdowns aside, his reviews are pretty good too. He gives the games really proper justice, and his Epic Mickey review was actually the only review that I could find that gave it proper justice. But with all that said, not only are his reviews good, but like I said, his countdowns are good too. He has a lot of unique ideas for topics, like top 5 best apologies in the video game industry, top 5 best and worst Mario Kart items, or top 10 unpleasant sounds in video games. That's actually more of a unique one than you'd think. And that's really all I have to say. CJ, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job of it. Now, I bet all what you guys are thinking, but wait a minute, Defossilizer, I thought you hated Peanut Butter Gamer. Well, no, I actually don't hate PBG. You see, while I made it out that I hate him in my top 5 most overrated and underrated games, I was merely lashing out because he made an awesome game look like crap. In reality, PBG for the most part is actually a pretty entertaining reviewer. He reviews games, and he's one of the NormalBoots.com guys, and a lot of people on Normal Boots I tend to enjoy. So, with all that said, he is a very entertaining reviewer. Oddly enough, some of my favorites of his reviews are the Putt-Putt games. One thing I will say though, is that when he goes into all random, spaced out mode, he's not as funny as certain other Normal Boots reviewers. I guess the way I feel about him is that he is a pretty good reviewer, but he's not like the best or anything, is kinda how I feel on him. But he's number 20 on this list, so obviously he must be doing something right. He is an enjoyable YouTuber, and hey, that's why he's on here. So yes, PBG is number 20. Oh boy, random encounters. Where do I begin with this one? How about probably telling you what they do? Basically, they make video game musicals. Yes, sort of video game musical number things. They're actually really enjoyable. They're very well put together, well sang, well instrumented, and well, they're just pretty good. The humor in them can be pretty good, if somewhat creepy at times. Both the songs and the videos can have a lot of unique styles to them, whether it be the insane mental breakdown of the Medic song, the intensity of the Arkham Opera with all of Batman's enemies coming up against him, or the unique claymation style of the Pacapella song. And I think we can both agree that the Magikarp song and Zubat song are freaking hilarious. If I can think of one reason why they're so low on the list, it's probably due to the fact that they take a while to upload, and when they're not uploading, they have a lot of filler content that I get blasted with that I really don't care about. I get that it's, you know, an effort to give more content to viewers, but I'm just not really a big fan of it. But hey, these guys made it this far, and they are pretty good.
I'm missing an amiibo.
Now, time for another countdown maker. Hope you're ready. This one is Scorcher, who is widely considered also to be one of the founders of the countdown community, the other one being the Autarch. However, unlike the Autarch, this guy actually makes a steady stream of content. In case you couldn't tell from me saying that he is a countdown maker, he does make a lot of countdowns. I don't know what else to say. He's a pretty loud guy and can be pretty entertaining, and also has a lot of very professional looking editing, like more so than the other countdown makers on this list. Yes, he can definitely come off as a bit of a rageaholic at times, but at the same time he also is pretty fair, so it's not too much of a problem. Also, I like his Fiery Joker Rants videos. I think those can be pretty nice as well. His My Little Pony reviews can also be pretty interesting, having a lot of good jokes and good editing in them. Also, let's just say I can relate to the whole unintentionally drawing in a whole nother crowd based on one video thing. I mean, what, a third of you guys know about me because of my game theory response video? Not that I'm complaining about you guys being fans or anything. Okay, enough about me. Let's get back on track. Scorcher's a good countdown maker, and if you like countdowns, you should probably give him a try.
You watch it play.
Okay, now it's time for the last countdown maker, on part 1 of the list. Yes, Ravan Luigi is my favorite countdown maker in part 1. Now, what makes this British guy so entertaining? Well, one of the interesting things about his countdowns is it seems like a lot of the time he talks about like game design choices and either what they did was amazing or genius or incredibly stupid if it's a negative list, or heck, it would be amazing or genius if they did something like, say, in the Smash Brothers list. I feel like some of his countdowns are sort of like a once and done deal that I'll just watch him once and not have much of a desire to go back, while others I'll just keep coming back to over and over again. But want to know the biggest advantage that this guy has over all the other countdown makers on this list? He uploads weekly, and I don't mean Let's Play videos. I mean every week he makes a countdown. Granted, for each week except for 1 week a month, it's a top 5, but hey, if you don't like one top 5, just wait for another one, and heck, if you want a bigger countdown, just wait till the top 10 at the end of the month. I feel like sometimes when he's not talking about the game, like, seriously and just trying to act all weird and stuff, he kind of sounds like a British version of Peanut Butter Gamer, which, if you've seen the number 20 entry, isn't necessarily a bad thing, and it can actually be pretty entertaining at times. Overall, Ravan Luigi is a very entertaining countdown maker, and I'm sorry if these countdown maker entries kind of sound similar. Don't worry, this is the last one of part 1. There's one more in part 2, though. So yeah, Ravan Luigi overall is my second favorite countdown maker out there. You know, there are a lot of internet review shows that are meant to make games look very bad and just make fun of them. While those are entertaining, it is nice to see a positive-centered review show at some point, and that's when the Completionist comes in. He is a very positive guy and does videos about, well, reviewing video games. He basically judges games on 3 aspects: story, presentation, and gameplay, and he's very fair in each of them and how each contributes to the game and just how overall enjoyable it is. Also, in his videos, at least for a while, he had a lot of random humor with his friend Greg, but Greg has recently left the show. I know he probably had his reasons, but it's still a shame that he had to go. Admittedly, Greg kind of annoyed me initially, but as I kept watching the show, he just grew on me more and more. There's also the completionist aspect of his show, as the title would suggest. Basically, in every game he plays, he completes it 100%, getting everything there is to get, doing everything there is to do in the game, and, you know, completing it 100% in order to get the full experience, and determines whether or not it's just enough to beat the game, or if completing it really gets you the full experience. Sometimes he even completes a game if it's not the best decision for him. I mean, he completed Super Meat Boy, one of the hardest games ever, Sonic 06, one of the worst games ever, and Skyrim, which took him over 500 hours to complete. Also, I remember there was another show of his that I'm not quite sure if it's still going to be continuing without Greg, but it's called Defend It. Tying in with his positive outlook thing, it's basically him defending a game that's widely panned by the internet in a Phoenix Wright style courtroom setting. Also, how positive this guy is sometimes actually helps when he does a really bad game. I mean, when the AVGN goes crazy on a game, sure, it's funny, but at the same time, you also expect it from him. With Gerard, on the other hand, he goes freaking ballistic on it because he's used to good games. So, if you're in the market for a more positive review show, I highly recommend checking out The Completionist. He won't disappoint. Well, this is a surprise. Yes, Todd in the Shadows is on my list. Now, I know he might technically more so be a Channel Awesome reviewer rather than a YouTuber, but hey, he's part of the Channel Awesome YouTube channel, or League of Super Critics, so that kinda counts. Basically, this guy reviews modern pop music. Now, to tell you guys the truth, when it comes to listening to pop music, I tend to not be all that mainstream. I mean, granted, I hear it on the radio every now and again, but mostly when I listen to stuff on my iPod, it tends to be from lesser-known YouTube artists. Well, technically more known in the YouTube world, I guess. But none of that really stops me from enjoying Todd's reviews. He's very sarcastic, and despite the fact that, like I said, I don't really listen all that much to pop music, I do know most of the songs that he talks about, particularly in the reviews. Also, I gotta give this guy credit where it's due. He has quite possibly the most clever way not to show your face. As his name would imply, he is in the shadows. It just shows a silhouette of himself, which never reveals his face, but at the same time allows him to do sort of some on-screen acting at the same time. It's really clever and actually has led to some funny moments. I would really recommend this channel if you're into pop music. I would also really recommend this channel if you're into Mr. Rancher, because Mr. Rancher had Todd as his inspiration, and it kinda shows as to how similar their styles of videos are. Only the big difference is the fact that, unlike Mr. Rancher, Todd doesn't constantly get flagged for copyright.
Bruno, please sign this check to buy a car. That's a wrap.
Is it sad that this guy and Todd are really the main ways I end up finding about hit pop songs normally before I even hear them? Probably, but Bart Baker is still very enjoyable. There are many parody artists on YouTube, and I personally find Bart to be the funniest. Basically, what this guy does is not only parody the music videos, get the same setups and everything, but also just make fun of the celebrities who sing them in general. Now, this might come off as kind of cruel or mean-spirited, but it's all in good fun, and the thing is, Bart is actually a fan of a good deal of the artists that he makes fun of. One thing that's just plain awesome is all the sheer hilarity and insanity that goes on in his music videos. So many crazy stuff, like him portraying Taylor Swift as a mental patient and the devil, or having Justin Bieber actually getting deported to Canada like that petition at the time was saying. I also find it funny in those videos where he actually makes fun of the people who hate on him in the comments. Well, if I were to have one issue with Bart's channel, and it's not a huge issue, it's just a small issue, while Crash Pad's an interesting idea for a show, I honestly think it would do better on its own separate channel as opposed to a part of Bart's main channel, because let's face it, his main channel is kind of geared around parodies. Trust me, I think doing it on its separate channel would probably be more fitting and end up being more beneficial in the long run. Well, anyway, back on track. Bart Baker is a great parody artist, and if you're a fan of music parodies, then I highly recommend checking him out. However, there is one more thing I'd like to mention before I go. Now, this is one idea that, while I don't think it would actually happen, I still think it would be really interesting. Basically, since Bart makes a ton of parodies, making fun of celebrities and all the different things that he do, I think it would be interesting to see him make an original song where he makes fun of himself. I mean, I doubt Bart would ever do it, but I think it would be really interesting to watch if he did.
It's awesome.
Well, straight from one music channel to a completely unrelated music channel. Yes, JT Machinima is next on the list. Now, I bet you're wondering, what does this guy do? Well, if you saw the footage, he makes songs about video games. Now, I bet you'd be wondering why I put him above the likes of Random Encounters or Brental Floss, as he does a lot of games that I don't really like, but here's the thing. I don't care about that. His songs are so freaking amazing. I normally listen to them when I'm getting footage for these videos. Now, it's really a true testament for a guy to make you love a song about a game that you don't really care about at all. Battlefield 4, because if I wasn't interested in Call of Duty, why would I be interested in this? Aw yeah, Maniac is awesome. Saints Row 4, what's that? Oh, it's the game that awesome song Rockin' Purple's based off of. Dying Light? Don't know? Don't care. Bite Me is awesome. Team Fortress 2. I actually like this game. But wait, does that mean it'll reverse and I'll end up hating the song? Nope, it's awesome just as always. My personal favorite song of his is Rockin' Purple, which is the song that you're hearing right now. Now, I'm not gonna act like everything this guy touches turns to gold, but that's not too much of a problem considering the fact that he uploads a new song every week. And you know what? I'm always happy to play one of his songs on my iPod, the ones I downloaded obviously, and just enjoy it. So if you're into some of the more hardcore games out there like Call of Duty, or just like a good video game rap, I highly recommend checking this guy out. Great going, myself. I went from a guy who makes awesome video game raps to a guy who reviews episodes of SpongeBob. Great going. Okay, to be perfectly honest though, I really do like Pie Guy Rules. He wouldn't be this high up on the list if I didn't. So what exactly makes Pie Guy Rules so good of a reviewer? Well, several things. For starters, unlike say Mr. Enter, who like I said will be on this list, he's a bit more positive of a guy. That being said, there are moments when he is negative, but I guess he's less harsh of a critic than Mr. Enter is. Now, in case you haven't noticed by now, he has a pretty unique style of reviewing things. So he doesn't constantly get hit with copyright strikes, he draws an avatar of himself and has it doing a bunch of different facial expressions over a background. Heck, if I ever figured out how to do what he does, I might just do it for Super Mario Logan, since everyone always asks me my opinions on specific videos of his. I'm not guaranteeing you that I'll do that though. Please don't hold me accountable for that statement. As you could imagine from what I said earlier, his most famous series is his Every Episode of SpongeBob Reviewed, where he reviews every episode of SpongeBob in a particular season. As you can imagine, these videos are very long. But if you have a good 2 hours set aside one night, you can sit down and watch one of them, they're pretty good. Or you could just segment it, watch a bit here, a bit there. Heck, leading up to his big seasonal reviews, Pie Guy will also do videos like Spongy Bits, where he elaborates more on an episode that he talked about, or Square Theory, where he talks about how different things work in SpongeBob, and these square theories can actually be pretty interesting. Despite all that though, my personal favorite series from him is Bottom of the Bakery, where he reviews bad episodes of Dan Schneider shows. You know the ones I'm talking about, Drake and Josh, Sam and Cat, iCarly, Henry Danger. You know, some good shows and some bad shows. He reviews the absolute worst episodes that those shows have to offer. And he does it in a very clever way, pulling his usual shtick, but also having an oven that very much resembles the Shiner's Bakery oven in the logo, and this represents the episode as a pastry inside the oven, and it starts burning more and more as the episode gets worse and worse. Now, this guy and Mr. Enter like to promote each other a lot, and that's kinda cause they have similar styles. Granted, they're very different, but they kinda have a similar thing going on. They pretty much go hand in hand. If you like one, you're going to like the other, unless you have an issue like Pie Guy's lack of footage or Mr. Enter's abrasiveness. And I really need to stop talking about Mr. Enter. I should save what I have to say for him for my actual entry on him. So yeah, if you want reviews of Nickelodeon and sometimes Cartoon Network shows, then go ahead. Watch this guy, you're probably going to enjoy it. Okay, be real guys. No matter what your predictions for this list were, aside from the YouTubers that I've already explicitly mentioned liking, you were probably expecting these guys to be somewhere up on the list. And honestly, how could I not? They're freaking epic rap battles of history. I mean, this show, in terms of views alone, is the most popular web show in existence, and frankly, I can't think of a single web show more deserving than these guys. Yes, I know I have 10 entries ahead of me, but that doesn't change the fact that I still think these guys are the most warranting of being the most popular. Now, where do I start? Well, these guys are awesome, that's one thing. I guess I'll start with the concept. It's truly genius. You have pop cultural figures and historical figures duking it out, but not with fights, but with rap. That is freaking amazing. Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd, the two people who started and run this show, are really great, and they bring in a lot of standout talents as well, mostly from the internet, but sometimes from just plain old mainstream music as well, like Snoop Dogg or Weird Al. The video part of their music videos is really good too. It looks really great and provides a great background and effects for everyone featured. And honestly, especially in the later seasons, this editing rivals professionally made music videos. Now I bet you're wondering, why are these guys only number 11? Well, it kinda bugs me and that's the fact that they take a while to get a season started. Like, they'll have like 6-month hiatuses and then like upload a video every week or every other week, then another 6-month hiatus. I get that they need time to make these videos as amazing as they truly are, but it still kind of bugs me just how long the wait is. But with all that said, they're still an amazing YouTuber and managed to make it to number 11 on my list.